Welcome to the Brutiful Game. As always, I'm Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
We like to call him 6 in the last 10. And Ron.
It's always sunny at Stamford Bridge.
It's never sunny in Manchester. Like literally. It's probably never that sunny
I mean,
in Manchester.
It rained like all your last home games for the past 3 or 4 weeks.
And it's raining of all of Manchester. And I'm just get out of the way. Is Dalot doing?
Ron loves the blues, but Ferris is singing them. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Manchester United is blue, blue, blue. On tonight's episode of The Brutiful Game, we're going to recap not one, but 2 red cards, a disallowed goal, and the biggest VAR controversy yet as Liverpool lose 2-1 at Tottenham. Then Brighton, thanks for coming out, as Aston Villa start the weekend off with what I think we all assumed would have been a scoreline that would have gone the other way, as they win 6-1 over the Seagulls. And then we're going to run down the rest of the action from around the Premier League, including both Manchester teams losing in our 2-minute drill. So much Premier League action before the blow. Again, it's already happened. I swear I'm not as tired tonight. So much Premier League action before we blow the halftime whistle at the blue line of the Buffalo Wing and the neck tattoo loving dad of the dressing, Ron, regales us with all the news that's fit to drink in this edition of Ron's Beer News. That is a pretty good one.
Mudryk with the neck tattoo is first for Chelsea.
Yeah.
I know.
Yep.
Havertz and him scored their first in the same weekend.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And then finally, we're going to close out with the La Liga's Roundup on satellite delay as we're back. But first, our beers. Speaking of beers, I've had a couple already because maybe that was my tongue-tied problem because I stopped at a joint I am in Connecticut. And gentlemen, I think I just had the best restaurant barbecue I've ever had. A joint called Smokin' with Chris. The dude from New York that was a firefighter that smoked and made food for his crew. I mean, craft beers and amazing barbecue. Best collard greens I done ever had since Grandma said something going on like Donkey Kong and a pot of neck bone.
There he is.
Very good.
Wow. The best collard greens you've ever had, and they were north of the Mason-Dixon line?
Hands down the best.
Wow.
Hands down the best. And I had burnt ends brisket, burnt in pork belly, and burnt ends pork rib tips. Whew.
Wow.
Very good.
Good for you.
Very good. Yeah, so I'm full. We'll see how long it takes me to get through this beer over here. Speaking of, I'll go ahead and jump on beers. Since I'm in Connecticut, last episode I tried Relic Brewing, and when I was there and picked up their Oktoberfest, I picked up another one. This is one that they used to do prior to COVID, and then with COVID they couldn't get the ingredients anymore, so they dropped it. And it literally just came back out. So it's one of the reasons when I went into Relic Brewing that everyone was so happy and celebrating, because now it's back with the cocoon. It's got a bunch of butterflies and stuff on the can art.
Nice.
And this is a extremely tropical Indian pale ale with Mosaic and Eldorado hops, 6.4% alcohol. But as the brewer Mark told me, this is not the hops that peel your teeth back. This is balanced just right. So
Okay.
we'll see what's going on.
Lovely. All right. Is it my turn? I don't want to step
You
on.
go right ahead.
Okay. So next week, the family and I are taking my son's first camping trip. He's 8 weeks old, and we're going to go out, take him to the mountains, do a little communing with nature, hiking, waterfalling, the huge. And we're going to the mountains of Western Carolina. So I thought, what better thing to have than a little bit of Carolina beer from Catawba Brewing Company, right next to good old Hickory, North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
If you go to catawbabrewing.com, they've got a pretty good, easy-to-use website. Their philosophy, from the sale of their first 5-barrel batch in 1999 to the 8 states of distribution today, their mission has remained the same: produce approachable and innovative flagship beers of the highest quality, Create unique small batch beers inspired by community, folklore, and lifestyle. Service the distributing partners with availability of great product. Educate anyone interested in craft brewing and grow a solid business that involves community and family. So that's
awesome.
cool.
Nice, man.
We're going to have the Endless Trail Pilsner.
Oh, sweet.
Cool.
It was first brewed this year, so this is the first time they've brewed it. So
Interesting.
We have cans of the very first.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I don't, that's been a while, or maybe it hasn't. I mean, that's the first time it's happened in a heck of a long time on this pod.
It's like I said, it's a Pilsner, 4.7 on the old ABV. The hops are Cashmere, Eldorado, and Citra. So it should have a bit of a citrus Pilsner in this rather than just, your straight. And the malts are flaked oats and wheat. A crisp, clean, crushable, Endless Trails Pilsner. We started with an easy drinking Pilsner recipe and added a touch of intrigue with a mild, noble hop addition late in the fermentation. The result is an approachable yet complex and flavorful go-to brew. Pack it in, pack it out if you enjoy life's hiking adventures.
What were your hops?
Cashmere, Eldorado, Citra.
Oh, and a Pilsner.
Okay. Yeah.
Interesting.
I got
Very
Eldorado
cool.
hops in mine. There you go.
Usually those are associated with like an APA. It can be an APA, but a IPA or like a hazy IPA.
Right.
Ron, does that just make you so proud? Do you remember when Ferris was like, I like beer.
Right.
And now listen.
No,
to
I
this
still like
conversation.
beer.
No.
Well,
I'm
like
just
when
saying.
we first started, you were always like, you guys talk about the beer because I don't know very much about it. And slowly over our 4 years or so of podding,
That's
you're
true.
all in.
Well, I'm a beer enthusiast, but I was more of the the soccer guy, if you will, for the pod, which is I think how I started doing the content, of that. But I've learned a little bit. I will not say that I know a lot, and I still mess plenty of things up. But working in a tap room for a bit has helped.
Sure.
Oh yeah, man. And I love that Ron said 4 years because he is not counting years correctly.
Am I
Been
not?
longer than that, my dude.
Has it?
What was it, 2016 we're doing this pod?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be like 8 years now. Didn't we just do 8 years or 9 years? What the hell did we just
7.
do?
We're
7?
coming up on it.
8?
Crazy.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah. Leicester won the Premier League. That's how we
In the
started.
time we've done the pod, you've had a kid and Ron's had a kid.
Yeah.
And your kid's like walking, talking, and is probably going to be like the next head coach of the U.S. women's national team. So like, we're off to a great start.
I think we're off to a good
7
start.
years,
I just
8
was
years.
looking for houses a day, and they're by where the ladies' soccer teams for school practice. I was like,
Nice.
it's walking distance. This is like a good place.
Perfect.
Nice.
Well, shall we crack these, gents?
Yeah. That can art on your on Catawba looks awesome.
Yeah, it's great. You'll get to see a picture of it when we post it, but it's essentially like hikers hiking across mountains in the sunset. It's pretty slick.
That's a tap room pour right there. More of an Oktoberfest pour.
Mine or yours?
No, mine.
Oh.
Our both has a little bit of head to it there.
Probably because it got a little warm.
Mine smells good. I'm out of the can. I don't have any fancy beer glasses up here in this
I
cabin.
thought about doing mine out of the can.
Ooh,
Oh, are we ready,
this smells
gents?
great. All right. Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers, my friend.
Sancha.
There we go.
Ooh.
It is not like any other Pilsner I've ever had.
Ooh. This is definitely an easy drinking Pilsner.
Absolutely.
It's got a bit of that straw taste to it.
Yep.
Slightly in the sweet end on the
Yep.
malts, but a very dry start to the beer with the slightest hint of hop to it.
Sure. Well, I don't know if slightly, but you definitely get the hops at the end. But they're certainly, at 4.7%, not overpowering. But you can taste that it's not, doesn't have that crisp Pilsnery finish, has more of that like hop profile
Oh, that's
finish.
good.
It's good though. Yeah, it's tasty.
Ooh, man, I could drink like 4 of these in a pod.
Oh, you ain't lying.
We can't though. We can't because we have another beer
Hey,
coming.
All right.
And we certainly don't want to drink 4 of those.
2 United losses in a week. 2 beers.
Bears is like, bring the 10% ABV.
Be careful what you wish for.
Well, that's a good segue. Speaking of people that need several beers at 10% ABV, that would be the good old town of Liverpool.
Oh.
As Liverpool and Tottenham was not quite what we expected, as 2 red cards, a disallowed goal, and the biggest VAR controversy yet has us still talking about the 2-1 match that went in favor of Tottenham. I'm going to burn through the match because I think it's going to be more about the VAR call. So here we go. 26 minutes in, Curtis Jones gets sent off. Was it a red? 34 minutes in, Diaz appears to score on a through ball, disallowed on the pitch. VAR confirms. 36 minutes in, Son nets one from Richarlison at the 45 minutes with added 5 minutes of extra time. In Gakpo gets one back, 1-1 at half. 69 minutes in, second yellow for Diego Jota. One of Ferris' favorite people. He likes that guy a whole lot.
I don't mind Diego Jota. I'm not going to lie to you.
For real?
I really don't mind
okay.
him. Yes. Yeah. He's not one of my most hated villains in the league or on the Liverpool team.
He's no Suarez, right?
Correct.
But
Absolutely correct.
he gets his second yellow, and they're down to 9 men. In 6 minutes of extra time, and at the end of the second half, Joel Matip on goal. It's so frustrating. And the 90 plus 8 minutes in the match ends with 2-1 to Tottenham.
What a roller coaster.
Wow. So Pigmol, PGMOL, the folks who oversee and like run the referees for the Premier League, they did put out a statement about it being erroneous, a call. But then today they dropped some audio. Ron, you got the audio handy?
Yeah. All right, here we go. This is audio released by the Pig Mole or PGMOL, and it is specifically the VAR audio talking back and forth to each other and to the match officials on the field. So here we go.
Oh, good. Both holding. Waiting, delaying.
Yes. Give it.
Coming back from the offside, mate.
Just checking the offside, delay. Give a kick point. Let's go. Kick point,
Yeah,
please.
Wait a minute. Just get a tight angle.
Yeah, give me 2D line ready for this one.
Right, so
That's fine.
bring 2 there.
Perfect. Yeah. 2D line on left boot.
Yeah.
Very
Soft
good.
angle. I think it might be this angle better. Happy with this
Okay.
angle?
Yeah.
Yeah. 2D line on the boot.
2D line on the boot.
Yep. Okay. So 2D line on the boot.
Stop. Check complete. It's fine. Perfect.
Playing.
Thank you, mate.
Wait. On-field decision was offside. Are you happy with this?
Yeah.
Are you happy with this?
Offside
On-field
goal. Yeah.
That's
What it does.
What?
on-field decision was offside. Are you happy with this image? Yeah, it's onside. The image you get is onside.
He's gone offside.
Delay. Ollie's saying to delay.
Pardon?
Ollie's calling in to say delay the game. To give the decision. Ollie's saying to delay.
Ollie?
Delay the game. Stop the game.
They've restarted our game.
Yeah, they've restarted. Yeah.
Can't do anything. I can't do anything.
And there you go.
You know what it sounds like to me? It sound like a bunch of friends playing Xbox or PlayStation and just talking. I can't do anything. I don't know. The game already started. Yeah, I can't do anything. Oh, no, you're right. Yeah, it just like it. I like it because it sounds so human, right? It's still humans at the other end of this VAR machine that are live time discussing it as fast as they can. Now, with that said, Ron has a really good, he helped explain a lot of that to me earlier, so I'll let Ron explain it, but how it played out and why it kind of did and why this was released and the apology released is quite interesting.
So the basic idea of this is that the on-field decision was that he was offsides, which was an incorrect call. So what you heard right off was the VAR operator and the head VAR doing call and response of, I need a 2D line off the boot, we need a kick point, and that essentially lets them line up the moment the ball's kicked where that 2D line is going to end up for the offside infraction. When they see that he is onside, the head VAR gets the call on the field wrong and says, check complete. When the head ref and the match officials on the field hear check complete, that is their cue that everything was fine. So that they assumed he was offsides because VAR just said check complete. So then the VAR replay operator is the person you hear saying, no. The onside call, the on-field call was offsides. Are you happy with this? And VAR is like, wait, what? And so there's this quick back and forth. And then they realize that they said check complete when they should have said he was onside, give a goal. So there was the VAR screw up there, but it then never gets fully translated to the fourth official, Michael Oliver, who you heard them saying they're talking to Ollie, right? They're like, Ollie's trying to delay. He's trying to delay the match. But the head official, who already knows that the on-field call was correct, he was offsides, he's not going back to VAR to stop the game. So he just presses on forward. Because there's also the rule that once the play is restarted, everything that happened with VAR previous to that is now no longer able to be brought back up. So essentially, you have VAR, the head VAR, who gets the call on the field, understands the call on the field wrong. So then he says check complete. That to the on-field refs says they were correct. He was offsides, when in fact he was not offsides. And then you have the issue of no one went back and said, hey, wait, everybody stop. Liverpool should have a goal here, which I think if they would have raised more hell and said you have to stop the match so we can make this right, yes, there would have been backlash in the public about having screwed up that call and having to stop the game and then go back, especially if you are Tottenham. But I think we can all agree that if they would have done that and made it right, it would not have been nearly as bad as the flack that everyone's getting now. So that's kind of how the whole thing went down. Gentlemen, your thoughts?
I think we understand what happened now. But I'll say that this feels very different. This feels like a bit of a watershed moment for the VAR situation, because this isn't a call that could have gone either way, or this was so bad. This is a team that's going to be fighting for second place. And it could come down between these two clubs. I mean, Liverpool could get knocked out of the top four at the end of the season, and this game could have been the deciding factor. This is, I think, a disaster for Pigball and the VAR. Because the way it's being talked about is so different than any other F-up that's happened so far, that it has totally eclipsed the game. In the sense of, yes, because as I said, this could really affect the fate of both clubs. That is important. But it's really, really, after some questionable calls in the past, shown a really big light on how clown shoes that situation. I mean, that the fact that they couldn't just, the fourth official couldn't say, I'm stopping the game because they've asked us to do that they didn't have that authority is ridiculous.
Yeah, and to Ron's point, the main point of VAR and what we all want from it is to get the call right. So if you have to do something a little unprecedented and get backlash and maybe your hand slapped for it afterwards, stop the match there. It's not too far after. It's not like you stopped a counter and go, hey, that's a goal. If you want to go over to the monitor and have a look, but that's a goal. Because
now,
I tell you, I was on the phone with work and I had the volume down, and I was kind of like, when I'm on the phone, I like pace around my, I can't sit still and be on the phone. I'm one of those. But as I'm walking around, I look over and I go, oh man, Liverpool just scored, because it was that obvious to me on the replay that he was onside. So you got to get the call right. And that came, 10, 15 minutes after an interesting red card that was given that also was a bit controversial in a way.
And to your point, if there's no VAR, we'd be having a conversation about how bad the refereeing just altered the course of this season by missing an obvious onside goal. And the screaming by, was it Gary Neville? You know what's bad when Gary Neville is going, oh, no, for poor Liverpool.
Right.
Right. As he's sitting there saying, if the other leagues have this automated version, because like the goal line technology works, just use that for the offsides then. If they've been using the automated stuff in, I forget which leagues it is, but it's been working successfully, just use that. But you know what's crazy is the Premier League clubs voted against using that.
Well, part of the reason that they did that is because some of the cost gets pushed onto them. And
did they not make enough money over at Man City and Chelsea? And Chelsea can buy one less winger? Like, come on.
I'm just telling you. But also, it was being pushed on them late before the season started. So what they were trying to avoid was, BS hackery of shoehorning this technology in, and no one's tested it here in the Premier League. No one's written sufficient rules for it. It was all very ramshackle at the end. So that's why, in my understanding, they voted it down, not because they didn't think it was valuable, but because of how it was being forced and shoehorned in. So maybe that'll change, especially after this.
I bet you next year, without a doubt, this will exist. They will have that.
I think Liverpool has a very good point in the fact that they say the sporting integrity has been compromised. I mean, you can point to dozens of other relatively famous examples where things similar to this have happened. But the more scary thing is how many things happened like this that we don't know.
Right.
Yeah, and it certainly makes you wonder the conversations that they're having during a lot of these maybe, dubious calls or those sort of things. I do. Who's the leader of Pigmol?
Howard
Webb. I do give him credit for kind of pushing some of these things forward. And while we think that apologies are getting out of hand because it's happening more and more each season and every other week, or where do you draw the line on that? Releasing the audio tapes is that hard knocks behind the screen version of what happens, which at least we can talk about this and have a better understanding of how it got there. Yes, it's a mistake, right? Humans make mistakes. Humans are still involved with this. We're all going to make mistakes. Nobody is perfect. Helps you at least understand how they got there. Not just, hey, we got the call wrong. Sorry. Yeah. Well, now you at least understand that there was conjecture, there was talking, there was a misinterpretation of what happened on the field to what the ref heard in his ear. So you get a bit more. And while we all can appreciate that, it still leaves a sour taste in your mouth that something that was that obvious on a replay that is technology, that is showing us the lines, that is doing these things,
But
it was correct.
how bonkers is it that the dude in VAR is like, oh yeah, no, it was field stance, it was good, because he just assumed clearly that ref had to have called a goal because it was so obvious.
Right.
You know, another thing strikes me here is there is such pressure from the fans and probably the refs and the owners and all that they don't want VAR to take a lot of time, which I get, right? Slows down the game, breaks down all kinds of things, right? But these guys are seemingly under so much pressure that they are rapid fire talking to each other, and they don't have time for the easiest check and balance that would fix this, which is when they say check complete, one of the match officials on field says, okay, check complete, offsides, no goal. Wait. That would have, no, stop. That should have been a goal. Go to the monitor.
Because
right?
let's talk about the times they have taken a ton of time looking in the monitor, much longer than it feels like they should have had to, right? And then in this situation,
but he wouldn't have been even at the monitor.
Right, but it's so fast. Yeah.
Well, so like the check and balance should be, which is funny. I say this because that's what they did the next day, which was there was call and response between the on-field officials and the VAR for the Sunday matches and the Sunday match and the Monday match, where you had to double check your VAR response to ensure that the call on the field was correct or incorrect.
Well, and that would, as you guys were talking, that brought like a idea to my head, or maybe it's not an idea, or maybe it goes along the lines to what you just said, of why not every time a goal goes in, say, goal in, don't restart play till we have a second look. That way, everything just stops until they can have a second look and confirm goal. Say confirm goal or go to the monitor, because we don't think it's a goal.
Right.
Am I repeating something that you basically just said, Ron, that is what's about to happen?
So they implemented that for the Chelsea match.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Right. Peter Drury and Lee Dixon were talking about that exact thing. And it was just one of those things, where it's a little bit of a perfect storm between not understanding what happened on the field, rushing through the check, trying to get that done, not having good enough communication, which also, by the way, look, I'm not an audio engineer, but I grew up in entertainment and I know how an open comm link works. Why does everybody on that have to have an open comm? Mute yourself. VAR is checking and the head ref is still talking to players and you can hear it. So that's another way you can foul up communication. There's 7 people on the line all talking at one time.
Sure.
So, and the standard, so the changes that are happening, moving from this point on, is that the new VAR communication protocol is going to be developed for communication between the ref and the VAR team. The VAR will have to confirm the outcome of its check with the assistant VAR before informing on-field officials of the final decision. But
okay, so that solves one part of the problem.
But I was going to say that doesn't solve. Yeah, that doesn't solve.
All that solves is, do you agree with the call on the field or not? That's all that agrees with.
We need to know what We need to know that what they're saying is that the VAR is going to say to the referee, the decision. We are overturning the decision. It is a blah, blah, blah. Or we are upholding the decision because it is a blah, so that the ref on field can hear it and understand what is happening.
Yes. And if you got it wrong, stop. Start over. Wait a minute. What are you trying to say? Okay. I didn't think that was right. Thank you. We go to the monitor. Whatever.
Well, do we still want to live in controversial swamp? Because do you hear, the other side to this that people are complaining about is that the two refs, England and Cook, had officiated a game in the United Arab Emirates on Thursday.
Right. So
prior
that's another. That's
to
another
the Tottenham
thing
and Liverpool match.
where they're saying the
yeah.
refs were too tired to be officiating this match.
But they were allowed and given leave by Pigmal to go do that.
Yeah.
There are no refs over there?
Well, they weren't.
I'm just.
Weren't they sent by Pigmole? I didn't think they were given leave to go. I thought they were sent.
They might have been sent, and it was signed off by Howard Webb from the article
Right.
that I saw, or
Right.
the news story that I saw.
Right.
Yeah.
So that means it's sanctioned by them, not we're giving you the time off.
Correct.
For you to go and come back.
That's how I. Yeah.
Right.
That's how I interpreted it.
What a mess.
If I didn't say it before, by the way, this beer is really good.
Well,
Way
we did
better
have
than
one
this.
other kind of controversial, which personally I don't think is very controversial.
Agree. I don't agree. I don't agree with the call, but
Yes.
I agree with the call. So
I
Did
agree
you
with the
watch? Did you any chance hear the two Robbies? I love what they called it. They said, unfortunately, this is a modern day red card.
it's a
In
fair
saying
assessment.
that, because they get to watch it in slow mo, what looks like a rough check and therefore a yellow on its speed becomes a red card when you watch it in slow mo and go, well, by letter of the law, that is a red, but it feels like it would have stayed a yellow if it were at speed.
Yeah, and the other point to that, Tony Sounds Good and I went to the Orlando City match on Saturday, and in tailgating beers, because they actually had use their points to have the lot right in front of the stadium.
Oh, cool.
Sitting outside on a beautiful day with some beers, Pacifico in hand. Oh, life was great. We were sitting there, we were just talking all sorts of things. But anyways, we were talking, how do you go over to the VAR monitor and the player going to review is already frozen with stud to ankle on the monitor, and then you replay the play?
That's a complaint. Yes, that was actually a big complaint.
I
about
thought
it,
that was weird too, regardless if it's Liverpool or whoever. But you're walking up to already a frozen image that looks bad. So that image is going to stick in your mind as you then watch, and you're not watching just a clip from start to finish. You're seeing that image of that, and that's what's going to stick in your mind.
Remember, we've seen not called for it where someone has hit the ball squarely, rolled through it, and then studs into the player. And if you froze on that, and that was waiting, you walk into it and you go, "Oh, is that a red card?" When that wouldn't have been. Do you know what I'm saying? You're right. And that was one of the complaints about it, was that what that guy saw when he walked into, they were like, he shouldn't be seeing that. It should be an at speed. And I
play a Subway commercial first and then get into it.
So allegedly, the I forget who the match official was, but asked for the contact image on screen.
Oh.
So they can ask for the specific point when they get there, because in some officials' minds, it speeds up the process. So they look at it in the frozen image, which we can have, right or wrong debates about, but they look at the frozen image and then they say, okay, play it back. And then they watch it in real time and then they make their decision. So that's not always the protocol. It's up to the head referee to essentially, once VAR tells him you should go back and look at the monitor, he decides what he wants to see.
Yeah, I don't think
and in what
Now,
order.
Yeah.
did Liverpool went to appeal it. The appeal failed, so that means he's now got a 3-match ban. Now, can I just say, I understand adding the extra day ban so clubs just don't appeal left and right. I understand.
It's not extra because it's a straight red. It's an automatic 3 game. So that was just upheld. And that's been consistent with past calls of this similar thing.
Correct. So
I thought when you appealed and failed, do you not get an extra something on you?
No. If you're thinking of earlier for Liverpool, the Van Dijk one where he got a straight red, it was 3 games. He got an extra ban for how he handled the things he said to the ref, where he acknowledged that he was in the wrong for saying those things, but got that extra game. So that's why he got 4 games. Or maybe it was 2 because it was a straight red. So yeah,
straight red. So I want to be clear that I don't think that this should have been a red card. However, I do think that this has been the only thing that the referees have been very consistent on. Malo Gusto from Chelsea had a very similar thing. He got all ball contact. His follow through ended up studs up to the calf of the player, red card. Right. 3 other instances this year. Last year, Casemiro got sent off on his foot rolled over the ball. His calf bounced on the ball, and then he went right into the shin of the player, studs up, red card. He's out. So I will say that this is a consistent call. Now, if you want to debate the rule itself, that's a separate question in my mind. This was a red card.
Agreed.
By what I will say, the case law, right?
And it's probably the most consistent thing that we've seen in the past season and a half.
While I don't agree that these should be red cards because the player really can't control his follow through in all cases, which maybe that's the reason right there, right? Like they say, well, if you can't control your follow through, you are being dangerous, especially when you go studs up into a leg.
Absolutely seen it not be called a red because they said it was.
I don't know. I think you've seen it more infrequently red carded than not. So I think they call this much more consistently time in, time out.
This is back to the handball rule. Was it intentional?
Well, they've removed the intent out of those types of red cards.
Correct. It's more dangerous play, and because those type of studs up tackles have throughout the years been leg breakers, they're trying to stay away from that. But in this instance, you have to look at it and kind of like there's no intent added to it, but I think you have to think of intent and how and why that play came in. But it's so hard to judge that when you're looking at it. You know, this one, like, was there an Alex McAllister one earlier in the season, or was maybe a little bit different? But the intent's not to break somebody's leg or necessarily put studs in there. You're going over the ball, you're doing those things, but it's tough. It's such a weird line. So if you're at least calling it consistent, I guess that's better than not, correct? Right?
Yeah. And so I'll take.
Well, that's what I meant by the handball situation. Not that the intent, but like the handball is so inconsistent. Why is this one consistent?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, I think that it's relatively easy to prove, right? You went into a challenge, whether you won the ball or not, your follow through was dangerous, and therefore it's a reckless challenge. And we all know that you can't just take the player out on your way to get the ball or once you've gotten the ball. So in my mind, I kind of see it 50-50.
So why does it go to a red then? Because a reckless challenge would be a yellow.
Well, it's dangerous. So
then they have to gauge the level of danger to see whether. Well,
I have similar thoughts, and this will really derail us over time. But I have similar thoughts with elbows, right? Like you go up and you jump, and your elbow knocks somebody, and they have a broken nose or a split head. That's dangerous play. Not, I was protecting myself in the jump. You are not, right? That's dangerous play. But I digress. I think that at the end, if it was reckless, it wouldn't have been studs up. I think if it's dangerous, it's studs up. And in this case, it was studs up. In Casemiro's case, studs up. In Malo Gusto's case, studs up.
Look, if it's Manchester United, it's always correct. I mean, we know that. Like, that's a red. Bunch of hoodlums.
Thank you, Blake.
But poor Liverpool, what did they do to anybody?
Meanwhile, Tottenham.
Whatever, who cares? This is how they win the game.
Quickly. Then there was something going around that last year, 9 points or nine goals or something like that. 9 points essentially were gained from VAR decisions, or 9 goals or something like that, which was like second overall in the league from what Liverpool won. I don't know who was first, but from VAR decisions last year, they essentially benefited, apparently second best in the league from VAR decisions. So that started to make the rounds as well. It doesn't obviously make it better in the current time, but nonetheless, and Tottenham up to second. or I'm sorry, up to third, right? Did I get that right?
They're in second now. It should be with goal differential.
They're in second, and so I tell you what, Europe treating them good so far, and if they keep Madison and Son healthy, and Richarlison keeps playing the way that he has in the past few games, maybe they stay in that top four. Well,
and I would say Europe is hurting the rest of the top four. We'll talk to about Man City later, but you're not wrong about that. You're not wrong. I do think after Christmas it changes a little bit. And hear me out with that. This is not the Arsenal fan poo-pooing on the Spurs. Okay, Kim, did you ever get what jersey you wanted, by the way? I'm not picking on your Spurs right now. But I do think that Postecoglou. That's my new Ole Gunnar Solskjaer name to say. I do think possibly they're very fun. They play very forward. It's reckless. I don't mean in a bad way. I mean if you play that aggressive, you can get caught in the counter. I wonder if it's going to be like one of these clubs that comes up and is just whipping butt and everyone's like really impressed by, like punching above their weight, like a little lower club. And then at the halfway mark of the season, they end up crumbling because people start to figure out how to play against them. So that's what I'm really curious about. To me, I think Tottenham's most important part of the season is going to be the 3 match days following Christmas. I think that's where you will see if clubs are starting to try to figure out something to combat that and really nail them on those counters, or if they're just continuing to run up the matches. So I just, a little after Christmas, I feel like a little after Boxing Day, I think that's where we're going to see if clubs pick up on them or not. Playing really well right now. So playing very well.
I guess that moves us on, yeah?
All right. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know why we didn't allow like half hour for that one, because we should have known it would become a total referendum.
Oh, we certainly went a half an hour for that one.
Yeah, we did.
So much for 6 minutes, we went a half an hour.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, VAR. You need help. Get it. Okay. We'll burn through this one a little quick because, to be honest, like, it's just that, holy crap, Villa was great. Welcome to the end of it, Brighton, as Aston Villa put 6 past you and only concede 1 at Villa Park. Villa Park rocking as a hat trick from Ollie Watkins' own goal. An own goal and 2 other net busters sealed one hell of a day out for Matt Call and the rest of the Lions. I love you threw Matt Call into there. Buddy, that day is for you. But threw that in, and the rest of the Lions, they are absolutely put in to Brighton and hand them their worst loss in quite some time, 6-1 to Villa. Ladies and gentlemen, let's lay it out right here. What does this game tell us? Do you want to know the answer, gentlemen? Both your clubs effed up by not hiring Unai Emery. That's who should be one of your managers right now. One of your clubs, he should be your manager, not the lamos that you got right now. That's what's going on.
Not the lamos.
You heard it. You heard it here first.
It's definitely a surprise, because this was like the early 7:30 on the East Coast. You wake up to that and like, holy mackerel. But second loss in a row. Second loss in a row for Brighton as Chelsea knocked them out of the EFL Cup, and third loss in 4 as what was it, the first Europa League game that we talked about in the last pod they won. So since beating United kind of rubbed off on them a little bit and said you're going to lose 3 and 4, and good for Villa. Villa you kind of look past, right, because they got 6-2 the first game of the season against Newcastle. But Villa's still up there, still around there, I believe up to 7th. And
when they get some of their injured players back, who are first team starters, you could see a real propel up the table.
I'm sorry, they're up to 5th in the table. I misspoke. Apologies.
This top 6 to top 8 battle is gonna be bonkers. You're totally right, Ron.
But Villa's also in Europa Conference League.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to frame Unai Emery in a way that Ferris can understand.
Go on.
Because I was thinking about this today, and I was like, I have the perfect explanation for like poor Unai Emery in terms of so like. I think he's a great manager. Obviously, he was Arsenal's manager. You go, Blake, well, do you wish he had stayed there? Things work out like they do. Obviously, Arteta was a gamble. I think he's paying off getting a young manager. Poor Unai Emery. He came in after, Arsene Wenger. I don't really know. I think anybody that comes in after Arsene Wenger, the same thing that happened to Unai Emery is probably was going to happen to them. No one's going to like him. So, Ron, you know what Unai Emery is for Arsenal? Ron, it makes him George Lazenby, the Bond who followed up Sean Connery and was never going to be loved, no matter how good he was. Ferris, you could have had George Lazenby as your coach. You could have had James Bond.
I'm going to peel back the curtain a little bit. The first time that Blake tried this, his audio, by the power of Sean Connery, completely cut out his audio.
No.
Yeah, no, it did.
And George
it did. I was a part of it. So much so where when we couldn't get you back on the phone, I went to the head.
You know why? Because the ghost of Lazenby wanted to make sure I said his name more times.
No, because all we did was delete the other one and just patch it through, and then all of a sudden, no, we get to say it again. And now, no, folks, it's all a sham. All a sham.
You guys still got to watch In Her Majesty's Secret Service, you weird Bond fan who's never seen that one. No. But that's who Unai Emery is. And man, if you guys had him, Ferris, I think
that makes David Moyes the Scottish George Lazenby then.
I mean,
don't go there. Give me a break. Unai's a good manager. Just leave it at that. Moving on. 2-minute drill. Let's go.
Man, how dismissive.
Sponsored by Subway. I don't know.
I almost blew beer all over this computer. Woo! All right. Let's do this 2-minute drill. If you're new to the pod or new to this, because there's only 3 times we've done it, I got to remember to say this. We're going to recap the rest of the matches of the Premier League. We're just trying to keep it tight, and we got 2 minutes on each one after we ask the question for the match. First up is Ron.
Luton Town, 2-1 winners over Everton. Are they going to stay up?
They're out of the relegation zone.
So are they going to stay
Guys,
up?
Everton is Everton is going to be relegated before Christmas, okay? Like, this is ridiculous.
And this was at Goodison Park. And Luton scored the first 2 goals. And held on.
I'm happy for Luton Town. Wow, that's historic.
I wanted Luton Town to get the first one at home. So, Bob can come out of his, nice bathroom and celebrate in his bathrobe. But you know what? Luton will take it 3 points any which way they can.
Yeah. When they scored, the only thing I could think of was that guy from Notting Hill, the roommate, who comes out in his bathrobe and has no clue what's going on ever. Yeah. Right? Just coming out onto his porch and celebrating, in his slightly open bathrobe.
I just figure like a bathrobe, cigarette hanging out of the mouth, got like a cat in his arm.
Oh, it's awesome. But in reality, Everton and Luton are not, they're going down.
Okay, yeah, but for Luton, go down swinging and you're heroes. Everton has no business with the funds that they have misappropriated. They don't have a lot of money now because they really screwed it up. But it just apples to oranges compared to 2 clubs, right? Like just amazing that Luton Town is even here. Almost as amazing that Everton is as bad as they are.
Mm-hmm. Tied on 4 points apiece. You have Everton, Luton, and Burnley, 16th, 17th, and 18th.
Hey,
do you guys know which 2 teams are worse than them? And those 3 teams? Because you're like, oh, those are. I would have guessed those are the 3 bottom teams. No. Who are the bottom 2 teams from there?
From the bottom 2 teams from.
Everton.
So what are you saying?
So Everton, Luton, Burnley occupy 16th or 18th. Who are 19th and 20th down the table? Don't look. Yeah, you would have.
I know Sheffield's got to be one of them,
yes,
right?
They are.
Sheffield United
Who's the other one?
Is 20th, right?
Okay, yep.
Who's is it Bournemouth after losing to Arsenal?
Yeah, it's Bournemouth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say Wolves, but they just won against City.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, wait, no, that's not right.
Party time.
No injury concerns here as Arsenal, speaking of Bournemouth, good segue, Ferris. They whoop Bournemouth 4-0 and even give their German big summer signing his first goal with a pen. Looking like the Arsenal of last season again. I mean, we'll get to it at Chelsea, but it's really funny that Havertz and Mudryk managed to snap their streaks in the same match weeks. I mean, looking good. We'll see. It's Bournemouth, so I mean, it's nice to have been a little wobbly and then come out and play super confident like this. It's obviously not coming back against Bournemouth and having to win 3-2 in a very exciting end of a match.
Is it all weird? You're like, oh, Havertz, you can't score in a real game, so here we're going to give you a pen to score. Is that not weird? I don't know. I find that a little weird. Like whether it's Arsenal or not, I find that a little weird.
I mean, whatever's going to build his confidence, right? He came out of a terrible Chelsea season where he was just panned, had no confidence. So any way you can build his confidence, I'm for it.
Give him a pat on the head and a hit on the butt and go up and hit a pen, son.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things. I wish there was another, whatever the Amazon show is behind the scenes with Arsenal, or there had been one at Chelsea with Havertz. There is something. I mean, look, guys, we're none of us are getting paid to run anything Premier League. There's something clubs rate about this dude. And, I mean, now I've come down on the, I hope he does well. Not so we win, but just as a human, I'm having this feelings.
Oh,
it's
not
dude.
for Havertz.
You know what I'm saying?
Yet. Come on, give me a break.
I mean, I don't know.
No, you can say that maybe about Harry Maguire, who's hit right. Come on, but you can't. Havertz, what? He's played 5 games and just hasn't scored a goal, and then
no. But I'm backing him up through his Chelsea days too. Where he caught a lot of crap.
But he won the Champions League for Chelsea. Come on, no, not yet. Not with Havertz. He's not even near bottom yet.
Well, I mean, now he scored, He scored before Mudryk. I don't care if it was the same match week. He still managed to score before Mudryk. For half the price, mind you.
Perfect timing.
Oh, let's talk about another bad team other than Bournemouth. A lovely volley strike from Joachim Andersen in the first half was enough to dump Man United at home to hand them a 3rd loss in the league so far and 2nd in the row at Old Trafford. Ah, man. Ten Hag on the hot spot there, or on the hot seat there, gents?
Can we change who we think is going to get fired first?
No, not it. Come on, you know the pod rules.
Look, I think he's on a heated seat at the moment, right? I don't think it's hot.
Well, it's in England.
Right?
Of course, they have heated seats on those race car chairs.
But I think it's getting closer, right? I think there's some substitution questions and maybe the timing of the substitutions, some maybe questions about the team he's fielding not being tactically set up as perfectly as we expect from an Erik ten Hag side. So I think the pressure's getting there.
I'd like to think it's not. I certainly hope it's not. Off to the worst start in United history since before Sir Alex.
Since before 1986, Ferris.
Thank you, Blake, for the exact
There you
dates.
go.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Russ. But today's loss, I was much more upset than I was on Saturday, because it's always hard to beat the same team twice in a week. Palace made number of changes midweek, and United won 3-0, and it was like, oh my God, they're back. No. Now, and this one, I will say, 77% possession, 1.3 expected goals, 19 shots, 4 on target, 2 big chances, 88% passing, 10 corners. Stat-wise, you're going, how is this a 0-1 win? But they couldn't put the ball in the back of the net.
And that's been the thing, right? You guys just can't
correct. Can't score. And Højlund actually scored 2 times today in the Champions League match. We won't really get into that. That will go off on another tangent. But good win from Palace as Grandpa Roy gets 3 wins at Old Trafford. The only manager, I think, to do that, or some stat like that. You can find it somewhere, but good for Palace.
Newcastle?
Ron didn't know it was him.
That's true. Newcastle don't score 8 this time, but they do get the job done with a 2-0 win against Burnley. So back to winning ways for Tyneside as they welcome European giants PSG to St. James Park. Can they get another big win midweek, gents?
They certainly have a chance. I tell you what, they got 1, 2, 3 wins on the bounce. 3 wins on the bounce. Actually, 4 wins on the bounce. 3 wins on the bounce, and then a draw and a tie. First game at St. James Park coming up against you. First game in like 20-some years for them in the Champions League against European giants PSG. How cool is that going to be tomorrow? But midweek of last week, they knocked out City from the EFL Cup. Now, did that do everybody else a favor, or did that really suck? Because now City has one less to worry about.
They did not do any favors to anyone.
Yes, I agree.
But I'm happy that Eddie Howe's master plan, process, whatever you want to call it, is working out over there. And it is still a good feather in their cap to knock City out of the cup.
Heck yeah.
Hey,
I mean, what if they end up top 4 or 6 and win the EFL? I mean, that'd be
that's what United did last year.
I mean, from 5 years ago to now, if you think about Newcastle 5 years ago now, we were talking about relegation for Newcastle.
Absolutely. Year after year, or like season after season.
It's interesting Blake just said that, considering he said their season would be a win when there was that whole argument of who had the better season, United or...
But he said EFL Cup. Yeah, and he's so excited about that. Yeah, no, we got that. Go ahead and hit that beautiful
I didn't get excited.
Yeah, party up.
For Newcastle. That'd be a big deal.
Oh, that's awesome. Blake, you're up.
West Ham move on to 7th in the table as 2 first-half goals. See the Hammers win 2-0 over Sheffield United. Sheffield sucks. Can the old Hammers sneak back into the top 4? I don't know, man. It's crowded right now.
It is. But they're a very solid team. And Sheffield United, Billy Sharp. Come on. That's part of the reason you're not doing that well. He's already scored a hat trick in the MLS. He scored a bunch of goals. He's been on player, teams of the week for the Galaxy. They're still not going to make the playoffs, but heck, he's a better goal scoring signing in the MLS than Messi has been. Billy fucking Sharp. The Blades need him.
Is Messi already? Maybe not going to play the rest of the season? Did I see that?
He played like a handful of MLS actual, league games. Other than that was that made up Apple TV tournament that they stole from Orlando City. Whatever. West Ham, Jared Bowen, Souček. Good win here. Get the job done. I believe they have European play coming up midweek here.
I'm just saying it does say Lionel Messi's status is day-to-day ahead of playoff push in Miami.
It's going to continue to be day-to-day for the rest of the season.
Because all they're trying to do is they're trying to bamboozle everybody to buy expensive seats. Because you knew he had that tear or whatever, and you held it. And you held on to it, and you never said it because you wanted Miami.
God damn it, Ferris.
Sorry. Down goes City. With Pep in the stands because of his comments, I believe actually in the EFL Cup week that he's bashed the officiating crew against Newcastle. But anyways, the Wolves of Wolverhampton get a huge 2-1 win over the champs to hand Man City their first loss of the Premier League season. Gentlemen, serious question to ask you. With 2 losses in the course of a week and an away match to Arsenal on the weekend, are City getting relegated?
You're an idiot.
Thank you. just hit it. Just pretending. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, the thing is, every Premier League team in the chase needs this to happen at least 2 more times to Man City. Because I don't think any club below Man City is gonna be undefeated for the season.
No, I don't think so either. And I think this is one of those that could kickstart them too, could give them kind of realization. Does Pep make a lot of difference on the sideline? Well, maybe. The first was an own goal, and then the Korean guy, as Pep said, his
hilarious
post-match.
That was weird. Yeah.
He couldn't remember Huang's name, but Wolves haven't looked great, but have looked dangerous at times this season. Probably the better team against United in that first game that they lost, where the first apology of the season from the PGMLO came out.
Right.
But Wolves at home, big win against the former champs. Does that kind of now kickstart City? And first match since Rodri was not in the lineup. Did that have a huge effect? And will it have a huge effect against Arsenal on the weekend?
Could be. Arsenal may also may not have Saka, so we'll see how that goes. Boom. Oh, sorry. Gotta wait for the horn.
It's always party time here on the Beautiful Game.
So, despite an early second half red for Nottingham Forest, they come from behind to hold on to a good draw against Brentford. Did you know that Nottingham are in 12th and Brentford are in 14th? Guys, are Nottingham going to comfortably hold on to like an upper, lower table position for the season, which would be a huge thing for them?
They're well managed, right? Steve Cooper, I believe is who it is, has done a good job with them. Some good signings this season, too, with Matt Turner in goal, Anthony Alanga playing, and some others brought in there. I think there are clearly three worse teams, so they might comfortably sneak by.
Yeah.
But it's a little too early for me to say.
Ron has no thought. He's just so excited to get to the next line. Are we going to get the next headline?
I think they're just going to be like Brentford. I think is clearly going to be better in mid-table. Nottingham, I think, is going to be floating a couple of places just outside of relegation.
Like a comfy 15th.
Yeah. Sliding into 14th.
With the clubs below them, I think, being bad enough that it is a comfy 15th.
Because I don't think Nottingham, they have a few injury problems, and I don't think that they're going to maintain this run of form. So I think Brentford will finish above Nottingham, but only by a couple places.
But see, why is it like a team like Wolves and maybe Nottingham is who we have to look for to please draw like Man City or something? Because that's the kind of crap that happens.
Yeah,
100%.
Especially with City this year.
Yes, exactly.
I rearranged the order here so Ron can say this last.
Ferris,
2 minutes.
you ain't gonna give you didn't even give Ron 3 minutes in the 2 minute drill, just 2.
But there's some good info here in this 2 minutes. A lot happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, the sun has squeaked its way through the clouds over Stamford Bridge. Chelsea win, and they have shirt sponsors. One not only for the men, but also for the women. Miracles. And they scored more than one goal. 2 goals in the matter of 81 seconds. As Mudryk and his necktie.
Do not skip that. Do not
What?
skip that. 2 goals in the matter of 1 minute doubles their season total.
I mean,
do not skip that.
Is that actually
No,
accurate?
it's not.
No,
not
it isn't.
actually.
That's why I didn't say it, because it's.
And you got to write your own blues.
I know, I am doing that right now.
Oh my God! Wait, but how many goals have they scored? Because now I want to know.
Not that many,
hold on.
certainly.
I'll tell you here. Okay, Chelsea. How many goals for do you think?
5.
Oh, 7 actually. They're a +1 after this game.
Yep.
7 goals and 6 against.
We have had a relatively decent defense.
And Robert Sanchez or Roberto Sanchez in goal. Most clean sheets in the Premier League so far this season. Pretty interesting stat.
The interesting thing is Pochettino keeps saying the underlying data says that we are actually playing much better than the results. And when you look at things like our defense and the goals, I mean...
Well, and the entire first team injured.
Yeah.
You sure Pochettino isn't one of Trump's lawyers? That sounds like that sounds like a good one. The underlying data, if you ignore the fact we've lost every game, is we are good.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
the underlying data.
what it actually proves, in my opinion, as a Chelsea supporter, there are brighter days ahead, right?
Sure.
We're just not quite there yet.
Sure.
And these 2 wins are not like the tipping of the Titanic. We have the ability to win, and as players come back from injury, which 3 people went off, in this injured. So we're waiting to find out if Caicedo, Mudryk, and Broya are going to play.
With that analogy, are Chelsea the band that continued playing as the Titanic sunk, or are they Rose Gowan that got away and lived to tell the tale?
I think Bowley is the band playing, right?
But instead of a band playing, he's just the Titanic sinking, and he's just throwing money like to people. He's just throwing
rescue me here. So I'm happy you brought up the shirt sponsor thing, because finally we have shirt sponsors, right? One is Infinity Athletes, which is basically a sports technology company.
And did they add this like reverse white collar to the back of the kits? Because I don't remember seeing that before.
That's always been there.
That's always been there. Okay,
yeah, the reverse pedestal.
Yeah,
Nike pedestal. Yeah.
Sorry.
Which I hate.
I hate it too.
Right.
It looks ridiculous.
Looks absolutely stupid. But the other one for the ladies is Lindahl's protein pudding.
Protein pudding.
I mean, it gets.
Do you have a picture of that?
That just is okay. Protein shake, fine. Protein pudding sounds gross. That to me, that's like.
Oh, he froze again. Hilarious. Well, we'll see if he catches up.
Are they holding up pudding on their thing?
Yep, there it is. Lindahl's pudding right there. If you go to the chelseafc.com website, you can look up the partnership and all that kind of stuff with Lindahl's. And it's just hilarious. The other cool thing about this sponsorship is that the two sponsors are now subsidizing the away travelers buses, because that had gone away for a bit. So now if you're an away fan, you can board a bus free of charge or at a very reduced cost, and you can get yourself out to some of the away matches.
That's awesome.
I'm so happy that Chelsea finally has shirt sponsors that represent a product called Protein Pudding that sounds like something from a Tom Baker Fourth Doctor Who episode.
Yeah.
Where they go to a society that's crumbled and the poor people like are only allowed to eat protein pudding while the ones in control get the real food.
Didn't they?
And that's what I will think every time I see Lindahl's protein pudding.
Didn't they eat protein pudding only in the Matrix? Right? Like they only had that one bowl of slop to eat.
Protein pudding. It's made of people. It's people. Yeah, that's what that is.
We are not suggesting that Lindahl's is actually made of people. Just the lawyers are going to be pissed.
Oh my god. Okay, an inappropriate punchline scramble. All right, moving on. Shall we get us to the beer news?
I think that means we should. Okay, so since we are well over time, I'm gonna
VAR.
I'm gonna keep the beer news till next pod, and instead I'm just gonna introduce the next beer of the pod. Gentlemen,
Sorry. This would only be more amazing if you said it's the Lindahl's protein pudding chocolate stout.
That's pretty fair.
That would have been awesome.
No, I can't. Ooh, okay. We're going to make some fake commercials for this podcast. Okay. Go ahead.
Blake's peeing himself over
Yeah,
there.
he is.
Oh, God. So, I have mentioned more than one time this pod that the sunshine is once again returning to Stamford Bridge. So, gentlemen, I give to you Blue Point Brewing's Imperial Sunshine.
I say 9.6.
Yeah, I said that was going to be crazy.
Man.
Easy to drink and a heavy hitter, Imperial Sunshine is our infamous blonde ale with orange and a cult following. Tangy and punchy, this beer is sure to give you some sunshine stories after a few rounds of yummy sunshine goodness.
Did you say blonde ale? Imperial blonde ale?
Yep.
What the?
That's why I thought it might be
Should I
interesting.
do it out of the can or not? I have no clue.
I'm pouring one out. This is from Blue Point Brewing, who we've had on the pod.
Yep.
We did their toasted lager quite a while ago. But this is from Patchogue, New York, in the old 11772
Oh, that
area.
zip code.
And also, I snagged this beer because it should be noted that the cannabis company, which I reported on, a couple of weeks ago in August, that Tilray Brands became the number one craft brewer in the Pacific Northwest because they bought 10 Barrel Brewing, Widmer Brothers, Red Hook, Square Mile Cider, Breckenridge Brewing, Blue Point, and got rid of Anheuser-Busch's stuff. So I felt it only appropriate to have a little sunshine because the sunshine has returned to Stamford Bridge.
Very nice.
Shall we crack?
Why not?
Oh.
Gotta watch out for that sunshine at Stamford Bridge. That'll turn your protein pudding rancid.
Ooh, man, that smells like a nice summer orange day.
Blake is so stuck on the protein pudding.
I can't. I'm looking it up. I just want to beg any Icelandic brewery or even UK brewery, please someone make a Lindahl's protein pudding stout, chocolate stout. I need this to exist so we can have it on the pod.
So protein pudding is a huge thing in Europe. It's not quite as big in the US, right? Or I should say like North America, but it's a thing all over Europe. So this is probably not all that uncommon in Europe, but definitely hilarious to be on the shirt sponsor for Chelsea.
Love it.
Ferris?
Beats the 3.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Zing. Whoa. That's quite the beer.
9.6, you say? That is so interesting.
Wouldn't be able to know. It kind of
Can't
tastes
see the
like
line, can you, Russ?
it kind of tastes a little bit like creamsicle.
But an Imperial.
Yeah.
You definitely taste the booze.
Ooh, baby.
I've never had anything quite like that. That's pretty damn good.
All right. Gentlemen, shall we come out of the halftime?
Let's do it. Brought to you by Lindahl's protein pudding.
They are not a sponsor.
They're not. We would love them to be, though.
But if you want to...
Oh, I'd eat one. I'd crack one open every pod.
100%.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, we just gave them a lot of plugs to the, 10 people that listen to us.
Nothing like a good old pudding plug. Am I right, Ron?
Pudding plug.
What the hell is this pod turned into, man?
You gotta love it. Oh, you gotta love it. Can you even buy that here? Dudes, you know what? I'm gonna go find a way to airmail
Oh, my God.
that stuff over here, and
Please
we're
do.
going to try it live on the pod.
Please do.
It's happening. Hey, Ferris, you know what time it is?
What?
It's time for the Liga's Roundup.
Pop that pudding plug and drop that news.
I got you. And we're even going to start with the Chelsea women because guess what? The WSL is back. First weekend for women's soccer in England. I tell you what, there was what? One match, Arsenal and Liverpool, which you get to in a second. 54,115 folks at Emirates Stadium. How freaking cool is that? But let's first start with Chelsea women, the holders of the WSL. They beat Tottenham women 2-1 on the day. Amia Fisher and a Lauren James goal shortly after halftime was pretty much all that Chelsea needed, as at the Stamford Bridge they won 2-1 and are off to a fantastic start. Other results. Weekend started off between Villa and Man United. Villa, a lot of dark horse, or a lot of people are picking them as their dark horse team with some big names there. They're gonna cause some trouble in the league. So a lot of them picking them to end kind of in that top 3. So we'll see where they land. But they give it up in this one, as pretty much from the 70th on was more interesting, as in the 74th, red card to Kirsty Hansen, and then a Rachel Daly goal in the 77th. So the Villa go down 1, but then score 3 minutes later. Then in the 80th, Lucia Garcia scores for United to bring it even. And then in the 90+3, Rachel Williams gets the game winner for Man United, 2-1 to United Women to start us off. It was an early game over here, I think 7:30 on the East Coast. Everton lose to Brighton Women as 2 goals quick within 15 minutes was pretty much all they needed to get past Everton. Everton just not good on both accounts so far this season, but long season for the Everton Women. And then that match that I was talking about, 54,000 in attendance as Arsenal, a favorite this season, but not off to a good start. Already knocked out of the Champions League, despite having some big name signings like Alicia Russo, England star, and on a free from Man United last season. They dropped points to Liverpool at the Emirates in front of that crowd. Unbelievable. Goal in the 48th minute as it was assist by Missy Bo Kearns. Maria Taylor made it 1-0, and Liverpool Women held on. So nice to see that attendance and what that game is doing and how that game is growing and what the England women's national team has helped out and done for this league. And it is growing fast, and it's becoming one of the best leagues in the world. So very cool to see. Bristol City defeat to Leicester City Women as Leicester won 4-2 on the day. Some good goals in that, a lot of scoring, and Leicester don't know how they'll do throughout the course of the year, but definitely beat a Bristol team who they were expected to beat. So well done to them. And then Man City, favorites this year with a lot playing. Lauren Hemp gets her first. It was a missed penalty by Chloe Kelly, but Jill Rode, I think I'm saying that right, or Rod? Jill Rode. Anyways, transfer in from Barcelona or Bayern. I'm not sure. But anyways, gets her first, 2-0 as City beat West Ham women on the day. And Man City's going to be good. No Champions League for them, and I think they're going to be tough to beat this season. So keep an eye out to them. And that's your first weekend in the WSL. Matches can be seen, a handful of them, on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but I know United's was, and I believe Chelsea's was. So I think 1 or 2 matches a week can be seen live on Paramount Plus, and then you can go back and watch.
And you can replay the other ones, I do believe, right?
I think you can just replay the games that were only live on there at the time. Yeah. But happy to have that league back. Moving over to the Bundesliga. We haven't checked in too much on it, but guys, guess what?
What?
Even with Kane, Bayern still aren't in first. Well, Bayern Leverkusen are. Jabi Alonso-led Bayern Leverkusen lead right now. Top spot with 16 points, 2 points over Bayern and 1 point over Stuttgart, who are in second. Stuttgart beat Cologne 2-0. Heidenheim beat Union Berlin, interesting enough, this weekend, 1-0. Bayern Leverkusen 3-0 winners over Mainz. Wolfsburg 2-0 winners over Eintracht Frankfurt this weekend. Borussia Mönchengladbach, one of my favorite names in all of European football, 3-1 winners over Bochum. And Bayern and RB Leipzig played out to a very fun 2-2 draw against, as I said, RB Leipzig, who actually beat them in that Community Shield in Germany earlier in the season. Pen from Kane and goal from Sane. The goals from Opeda and Luke Aba for RB Leipzig. Other results from the Bundesliga this weekend included, I think, a Friday match, if I'm not mistaken, where Dortmund were winners 3-1 over Hoffenheim. Dortmund up to fourth, right behind Bayern. So table's starting to kind of get to where it, what we're used to, I should say, not to where it needs to be, but what we're used to. Darmstadt 4-2 winners over Werder Bremen, and Freiburg 2-0 winners over Augsburg. So that's your update from the Bundesliga. Will Bayern stay in third for a while? Probably not, but nonetheless, Bayern Leverkusen and Stuttgart are playing some good ball right now. Moving over to Serie A, we have not checked in with them on the Liga's roundup so far this season. But guess who's scoring for the old Milans there, guys? Christian Pulisic, of course. 60th minute, nets another one as they are 2-0 winners over Lazio.
I didn't answer that because I really thought you were going to twist that into a joke that what's his name? The striker who's banned to Italy, basically still on the Chelsea payroll.
Belgian.
Yeah. Why can't I say his name?
Lukaku.
Thank you.
He's playing for Rome. Roma, sorry.
He scored more goals than Chelsea has this season.
He did.
Thought that's where you were headed.
And guess what? He scored for Roma this weekend in a 2-0 win over.
So what do you think with how he's doing
Brazil.
over there? Pulisic, I mean, should Chelsea have kept him?
No.
I don't think with everybody that's been brought in, despite the injuries, could they use him right now? Yes, but despite the injuries, everybody brought in, Pulisic needed to move on. AC Milan's a good club for him to be at. It's a big name. It's still a big European name. You're going to play on a big stage every week. And you're going to be able to play. And in a way, the American scrutiny is going to be off of him a bit, right? Premier League is the prime European league here in the States.
Right.
And eyes are on him all the time.
Right.
And,
takes the pressure
coverage,
off,
right?
Lets him have fun, lets him get back into form,
Right.
So that when he's going into this World Cup qualifying event and all that, granted, we're already in, that doesn't matter, but he'll be in a better run of form, scoring goals, having fun.
Yeah, and all of these matches can be seen on Paramount Plus as well. Other results from the weekend: Napoli 4-0 winners over Lecce, Inter 4-0 winners over Salernitana. I don't know how to say that. Anyways. Bologna 3-0 winners over Empoli, 2-2 draw between Udinese and Genoa, 0-0 draw between Atalanta and Juventus, 2-0 winners for Roma, as I previously mentioned. 1-0 winners over Sassuolo was Monza. Good win for them. Torino and Hellas Verona played out to a 0-0 draw, and Fiorentina and Calgary played to a 3-0 win for Fiorentina. Table's kind of shaping up as you would expect so far. Inter at top of the table, tied on points with their Milan rivals, AC Milan, a few weeks back, I think Inter Milan just got absolutely slapped, if I'm not mistaken, or what? I think it was them, or maybe it was AC Milan got absolutely slapped by Inter Milan. But they were 1-2 in the table. Napoli third, Juventus fourth, Fiorentina fifth, and Atalanta sixth. And finally, the last of the La Liga's roundup. Thank you, Ron. We move over to the playoff race in the MLS, as this past weekend was quite interesting, and there's midweek matches, so be out on the lookout for those starting tomorrow. But some of those matches over the weekend, and we won't go through all of them, but obviously Inter Messi did not play as they drew 1-1 to New York City FC. A rival that we're kind of going against right now for spots in the East. New England got a 2-1 win over Charlotte. Orlando City, 3-0 win over CF Montreal here. Very awesome to be a part of their 15th win, most in a season for the club. So hopefully they continue that on Saturday. But so far, very, very good. Currently in second right now in the East and already confirmed for playoffs.
Yes.
And Ron, I believe our playoff seats were purchased today.
Love it.
Other kind of results: Seattle and Nashville play out to a 0-0 draw. Interesting. St. Louis City 4-1 winners over Sporting KC. St. Louis, you guys have forgotten, right? New club this year, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Right now might win the Supporters Shield. Probably not. It's probably going to be FC Cincinnati, but they are winning the West. Playoff position secured, and they will probably win the West.
I thought FC Cincinnati did win the Supporter Shield.
They might have secured it
this past week. Yeah.
But St. Louis City, what an awesome for first year and winning the West on 56 points. Awesome for them. Galaxy and Timbers played out to an entertaining 3-3 draw. We're in the last couple of games here in the MLS. There's a new playoff structure that we were talking about before the pod. We will not spend the time right now. We'll go over that.
40 teams get in. Yeah,
70, 100
right?
teams. Yeah, no, absolutely.
And we play
Good
till
Lord.
December of 2026 for this
you
year's
enter
playoffs.
the tournament, you see who comes out on top of the first round of games, then you exchange TAM, GAM, JAM, and 3AM, And then
do a round robin between the 7th and 8th and 13th team.
You then EAFC foot it your ultimate squad, but only a third of your players. And then you get to determine who gets to play, and in the end, whoever Messi plays for is who MLS lets wins the game. So that's how that works out.
Blake's math is rarely correct, but it's correct in this instance.
Yeah. The only thing he forgot was that if it's an alternate rainy Tuesday, the other team has the possibility of winning.
Instead of Stoke, we have like an alternate rainy Tuesday on a baseball field in New York.
That's true.
All right. Real quick before we end the Lakers roundup. Let me give you the standings so far in the East and West in the playoff line. FC Cincinnati Supporter Shield winners first, 65 points. Orlando City second, 54 points. New England third and 52 points. Union 51 points. Crew in fifth and 50 points. Atlanta United, Nashville, New York City, CF Montreal. Round out your 5th through 9th. Now, New York City, 38 points. CF Montreal, 37 points. DC United in 10th. Chicago Fire in 11th on 37 points. Those are going to be the teams to watch out for here in the next few weeks, as they can all change pretty much just based off of one win or whatnot. I believe Nashville is secure now. And so long to, I think Inter Miami technically have a shot, but
it's mathematically still possible.
Mathematically still possible. Cool. Yeah. To Blake's math, 100% still possible.
Right. As far as MLS is concerned, they're in.
Yes, absolutely. St. Louis City, top of the West, as I said. What just an awesome job they've done, and it'd be fun to watch them in the playoff. Real Salt Lake in second. Very nice job they have, and their whatever signing. I can't really say summer signing because they play in the summer, so maybe it was summer signing, maybe it wasn't. Who the heck knows? But Christian Arango, who used to play for LAFC, what a difference he's made on that front line for Real Salt Lake. They are tied on points with Seattle Sounders, who are in third. Seattle kind of quietly got back up there. Yeah. Didn't start the season well, just kind of there, but got up to third. So good for them. LAFC will make the playoffs again, more than likely. And they're on 45 points. Houston Dynamo, 44 points, and winners of Lamar Hunt Trophy, beating a Messi-less Inter Miami midweek last week when we recorded the pod on Wednesday. So congrats to them. Vancouver Whitecaps, Portland Timbers, San Jose Earthquakes, FC Dallas round out your 6th through 9th. Teams still in contention there. Sporting KC, Minnesota United, Austin FC, and the Galaxy. Galaxy and Austin in 12th and 13th on 35 points, and 10th and 11th Sporting and Minnesota on 38 points apiece. FC Dallas on 41 points. So between them, San Jose on 42 points, and even the Timbers and Whitecaps on 43 points, maybe even up to Dynamo 44. You're going to get some changes there based off of one or two games. You're going to need a lot to swing your way and a lot of teams to do it. But again, we'll go over the playoff system here. Those 8th and 9th teams are like playing games. It's weird. But that is your MLS recap as we're in the last few games of the season.
Real quick question.
Sure.
Toronto FC. The Canadian men's national team coach, Herndon, replaced, I forget who.
Bob Bradley.
That's right. Thank you. To take over TFC. Obviously not this year, but next year. Do you really think he's going to make much of a difference?
Possibly. Yeah, no.
That's a nice middle of the road answer.
Thank you. Just trying to be so Canadian about it.
I don't think he's going to make as big of impact as everyone says he's going to. He's a great national team coach because he doesn't have to coach, right? He puts the players together, he gives them the game plan, and they basically have to execute, right? But he's going to be in charge of a team every day, day in, day out, developing players. But he hasn't done that in a very long time. So I don't think he really moves the needle all that much. That's why I thought I'd ask.
And that's your La Liga's roundup.
You know who moved the needle, Ron? George Lazenby, trying to do something different with the Bond franchise.
I want to hear some Zlatan quotes.
All right, let's. Well, first off, our beer's the pod. I had from Relic Brewing here in Connecticut, I gotta say Pennsylvania. I know where I was. From Relic Brewing, I have their Cocoon IPA. Freaking amazing.
Our first beer of the pod from Catawba Brewing Company was the Endless Trail Pilsner with a bit of citrus in there.
It was good.
Quite tasty.
And some hops and a Pilsner.
Yeah.
Like overlay of hops. We taste
Right.
it. Not strong, but good. Very good.
Our second beer of the pod was the Blue Point Imperial Sunshine Blonde Ale.
I tell you, after the first sip, we taste the booze. It's going down really smooth. Now.
It's
That's
quite
dangerous
good.
on a 9.6.
Oh, you crushed
It's a work night, but I'm in the mode after these beers. Like I just want to have a few more.
You call in late tomorrow.
You know what? I might join you. You know what I've been playing? The new EA game. It is freaking cool. It is dope.
Yeah.
My first, I showed Ron this earlier. My first tradable pack that I opened a few non-tradables introduced to the game. Guess who the top player was?
Delot.
I did get Delot at some point. I was so mad. He's already off my team. I already used him in the squad building challenge. But first tradable pack, 84, Brazilian, center attacking and or right mid, Marta.
Oh, there you go.
And then Ashley Hatch, next in line, the highest, 82.
Nice.
Heck yeah. I'm off to a good start in this game.
Once I finally get moved and get all my stuff set back up, I'll have to go ahead and
It's a good game. It's a good game, and it's really fun to mix and match the squads and play with WSL players. I got a Lucy Bronze, England women's national team playing over in Barcelona. Rachel Daly. It's just a lot of fun. If you get a chance, this new FIFA iteration, just EAFC, is a lot of fun, especially on Ultimate Team mode.
All right, Ferris, do you have a Zlatan quote?
I have two. I have a quote, and then I have a question he was asking and an answer, so I'll give you both. Quote, that's how it is with the English. If you score against them, you're a good player. If you don't, you're not. The Swedish striker on his wonder goal against England.
Nice.
And then a question he was asked. Which other sportsman would you compare yourself to?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
And I bet he said something like, everybody's far below me.
No.
Oh.
Now, I don't know if he really answered, but he said,
Muhammad Ali. Who did he say?
Blake, you got it. I'm like Muhammad Ali.
Nice.
When he said he would knock someone out in the fourth round, he did it.
I couldn't think of another sports person that would talk like Zlatan does about himself more than Muhammad. Of course he loves Muhammad Ali.
Nice.
That makes so much sense.
Love it.
Man.
Love it.
I just want to see the two of them hang out now.
Right?
I need to do that in the holodeck for Star Trek. when I play poker with Muhammad Ali and
Zlatan. Hilarious. Blake just dropped for the third time. So we're just going to finish this out.
Do you have a dad joke?
Right?
Hold on. Let me. Blake,
I'm
we
thinking of
are
one.
still going to do a dad joke in your honor.
I'm thinking of one.
What do you call two ducks and a cow?
What?
Quackers and milk. When does a dad joke become a dad joke?
When?
When it becomes apparent.
Good one. All right. Well,
Try the veal. Good night, everybody.
as always, follow us on all the Untappeds, the social medias, all that kind of stuff. Leave us a review, screenshot it, send it to us, and we'll get you something out in the old mail.
Yes, and real quick, thank you to Brian Turner for letting us know of the little error on dropping the pod.
My
this past
egregious screw up.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Ferris, Blake, who dropped early, probably because of the karma of his Lazenby joke. Love the beer, cherish the game, the beautiful game. We'll have protein pud for the next pod. I ordered it while we were on this pod.
Hell yeah.
You're welcome.
Good night.